Hi everyone, I'm Cullen Haynes and I love lawyers, and welcome to the LHL Story Series. Alright everyone, I'm sitting here with Jessie Porteus from the Learned Crew, and I'm so happy to have you on. How are you, Jess?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you, Cullen?
I'm very, very well. Obviously, thank you for coming on episode 3 of the show.
My pleasure.
And we'll kick off with our first question. As always, if you were to describe your life using film titles, what would they be?
I would say it would be Step Up.
I love the step up.
Just because I'm a dancer, but also because I feel like recently with starting my own business, I've really had to step up, learn a few skills, and enter into a new sort of world.
Oh, fantastic. It's very good. So step it up, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, and one of the things I love about you there, Jess, is that you described on your LinkedIn, it's everywhere, yourself as a one-woman panel resume. I'd love to know a little bit more about that because you've had a rich career in history. Tell us more about that if you could.
Yeah, so I'm actually really lucky to have had such a rich career experience, and I do have to thank the amazing legal profession and its members for
Props to them.
For the generosity that they've actually given me in allowing me to have those experiences. So I describe it as a one-woman panel because I feel like I've experienced quite a few legal careers, almost every one that you can imagine so far, and that's why I want to share it with young lawyers. So firstly, when I finished uni, I was a judge's associate. Okay. So got to experience the court and watching the best advocates and judges at work, which was fantastic.
Yes. Then
I started at a top-tier law firm and worked in commercial and intellectual property and had my sort of experience in private practice. And also when I was working at the firm, I was able to go on secondment, which was amazing, to a community legal centre advising asylum seekers and refugees.
Wow.
And so that was amazing experience. That was just 6 months, but allowing or advising asylum seekers on how to obtain protection visas in Australia, but also half the time you were actually delivering legal advice through an interpreter.
Okay, so there was that barrier between you, right?
Yeah, and so you actually had to learn how to deliver legal advice in short bursts and in really plain English words. So I felt like that really helped me later on. Then I went back to the firm and then I actually went in-house. So I've had that in-house experience. And then just last year, I had to start my own law firm.
Oh my goodness.
And I started my own business. So I feel like I do have a duty to share those experiences and insights with the younger generation. So I feel very lucky to have had all of those experiences.
Oh, fantastic. And is there one role that stuck out, like any of the particular roles? Was it in-house or that dealing with asylum seekers that you really enjoyed?
I think all of them are equally enjoyable, and they've all led to me learning something new, and I love learning, so I've really appreciated all of those experiences.
Fantastic.
I feel like probably the biggest learning curve was when I started in-house, and I've been in-house for nearly 4 years now.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. And you and me, obviously, we met at the Beyond Billables conference.
Yes, right here, actually.
Right here at Clarence. Shout out to Clarence, July last year, and Michael and Marchek from Beyond Billables hosted that. And I think people would really value from your journey, because we were talking about you obviously starting the Learned Crew, which is helping, those aspiring lawyers and people in law not only survive but thrive. What gave you the inspiration first for starting the Learned Crew, and what gave you that push to go, okay, I'm just going to go all in?
Yeah. So I've always actually wanted to be a teacher before I wanted to be a lawyer.
Your family's teachers, right?
I come from a family of teachers, so you can't actually deny the genetics sometimes. And when I was at university, I used to do a lot of tutoring and mentoring for the younger students. Okay. And I just loved it. When I went out into the workforce, I completely missed education. So I started a blog, and it was just a cathartic exercise just to get on paper or screen all of my top tips for students who are going through law school. Did not market it at all. And on last count, it got 75,000 hits.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, there's something in this. And I always wanted to write a book, and I always wanted to turn it into a business. But I feel like last year I came back from getting married and had a really long honeymoon. Thank you. And I thought, now's the time. It's a really disrupted legal industry. I had all of those experiences, and I feel like it was just calling me. And I didn't want to regret not doing it.
Yeah.
So I had to take the leap, and I'm really glad that I did.
Fantastic. You had that future pull. It was like calling you, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, and glad you have it. And things are going well, obviously.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I always ask this question, and it always makes people pause. How would you describe your role in law to a 6-year-old?
My new business, the role would be I help people figure out what they want to be when they grow up.
Okay. So that's pretty simple. This is what you want to be. All right. And in terms of, like, on that same thought of 6-year-old, if you were a colour in a crayon box, if you're a new edition, what colour would you be?
It would be a photo finish between... Sorry.
So, definitely got a lawyer on the show.
Classic. Between teal and peach, which are the Learned Crew logo colours.
Of course.
Because they're not conventional. They're not your typical choice, but they're still strong and impactful and inclusive.
Okay.
And they show that you can choose sort of another option that's still a viable and beautiful one, not just the traditional or expected black and white.
Or the one that's been laid down for you, or you think you need to go down. That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If there was one piece of music that's your theme song for life, what would it be?
Crazy in Love by Beyonce.
Oh my God.
It's my favourite song of all time, but also I did a flash mob dance to that song.
Did you really?
At my own wedding. So I organised all of my girlfriends to learn a dance, and we surprised my husband Keith with it. But it's just a great song, and it always picks me up.
Oh, great. All right. Do you have it on your playlist right now? Or?
Of course.
That's great.
Yes.
Fantastic. And obviously on that theme of playlist, you're obviously a self-confessed gym junkie, is that correct?
Oh, yes.
Is there a particular exercise you absolutely hate?
I hate Nordic curls. For anyone who knows what they are, really tough on the hammies. I try to avoid them.
About them.
Yeah, you want to avoid them.
Okay. And what's the song that really gets you G'd up in the gym?
Oh, anyone that knows me knows I'm a 90s pop fanatic.
Me too. Yes. I love that stuff.
Anything like Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls, but also new stuff as well. I'll throw a bit of Ariana and Bruno Mars in there too.
Well, whack some modern stuff. Absolutely. Mentors and pieces of advice. Is there a mentor that you've had, or is there a particular piece of advice that's resonated with you, that's carried you through to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. I was really lucky to go through a leadership program at work recently.
Okay.
And through that program, we were taught to ask for what you want.
Wow.
So that was the biggest piece of advice I've received, and I've started to use that. And I've been really overwhelmed by the generosity of other people when I do ask for something. Most of the time, they're really able to help, and they'll say yes, or they'll figure out a way to help me or connect me with someone else. And I also make sure that if someone else asks me for something, that I help them. So you're sort of paying it forward as well, but asking for what you want, because the worst that can happen is that they can say no.
Absolutely. And you're not going to die or anything like that. There's not going to be no dire consequences, so you may as well go for it.
Exactly.
And easy to understand, would you say? Is that why it's got so much traction?
I hope so, yeah. I think it strikes a chord because I'm honest, and I try to share what I've learnt, and I think people appreciate that.
Oh, fantastic. So it's going to be in the show notes, the link there, so please look into it ASAP. It's okay. We're going to finish on something. I always put my palms on the table because it's quite,
okay.
Yeah. When all is said and done, Jess, how would you like to be remembered?
I'd like to be remembered as someone who helps people, and particularly the next generation of law students, and perhaps someone who's made some tiny difference to the legal profession, so that I've made a bit of a difference and changed it from when I started and joined the legal profession.
It's really nice.
We'll see.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and joining us for the LHL. No, it's our pleasure to have you. And obviously, we're going to be coming out with one of these every week. If you know someone that would like to be a part of it, or you'd like to be a part of it, DM me, feel free to message. We've got a few people booked in. By all means, we don't have thousands. We'd love to have you on the show. And thanks for joining us for another edition of the LHL Story Stories. See you soon, everyone. Bye. Well done, Jess.
Yeah.